Hey everyone, today I thought it might be a little bit fun to do something a little bit different, kind of along the lines of my bad Steam reviews, but more like bad comments on my own videos. We're not going to look at very many, because I don't have very many in mind to look at, but there's a couple in particular that I wanted to highlight that I thought were amusing, funny, all of the above. So let's go ahead and take a look at them, getting a little bit of the behind the scenes about what video comments look like. Before we actually get started though, let me show you something that you might not know about a YouTuber and what their comments look like. If a YouTuber goes to their comment section like so, it just by default sorts the comments by newest first, and then just goes down across all of the videos that they've published, all of the videos that people have access to. It's just all in order. So if you ever feel like you've missed the window of opportunity to comment on a YouTuber's video, as long as they're like kind of my size or smaller, or maybe even up to 100K, depending on the person, depending on how many views they get, they're probably going to read every single comment, no matter how old the video is. I definitely do, and my camera's a little askew. Apologies, getting a little bit of a live action fixation here. So yeah, if you ever feel like commenting on something, just comment on it. Don't worry about how long it's been out there or how long it hasn't been out there. And in general, if it's a video you like, make sure you comment anyway, because the more comments that you put on a video, the higher the engagement for that video is, and YouTube just appreciates that video more and possibly, helps push that creator. So with that out of the way, let's go back to, I wanted to read some of the comments on this Nintendo video. And one of the things that made me realize that I kind of wanted to do a video like this is a comment, or a few comments from this guy. I'm gonna have my editor blur out the names of the people that we're roasting today, just so I don't get accused of dogpiling, but unfortunately with the way this is laid out, you'd probably be able to find them pretty easily. Anyway, this guy put his comment on the stickied comment of this Nintendo video, and it says, he made two comments. Hope you're being well paid for lying and spreading paid astroturfing about games and consoles you've never played and owned. Lol. Imagine gaslighting this hard to trick children. Also, you know what? Let's break that down first. First of all, you can always tell. A YouTuber always knows when you like your own comment. You're not being sly. You're not being slick. Nobody thinks that somebody actually liked your comment half a second after it was posted. Get the hell out of it. Get that crap out of here, man. But first off, look, hope you're being well paid for lying and spreading paid astroturfing. Okay, let's do some research. Define astroturfing. Astroturfing, the deceptive practice of presenting an orchestrated marketing or public relations campaign in the guise of unsolicited comments from members of the public. I can see how my video could be seen as astroturfing, but it's not. Especially paid. Like, who really thinks, unironically, that Microsoft or Sony or Valve, I guess, who thinks that they're gonna give my ass money for talking about Nintendo in a slightly negative way? Like, if you paid attention to this Nintendo video at all, you would have noticed that it's really not that bad. I put on an air of like frustration and disappointment and fed upness throughout the entirety of the video, but at the end of the video, I even mentioned that I'm going to keep buying their games. There's a few reasons for that. One, I don't think boycotts actually do anything. They do things, but not from a YouTuber calling for a boycott over a bunch of first world problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Shigeru Miyamoto had a Cosby suite, for example, then, boycotts might work. They might be called for, but for protecting their games within their legal rights, with copyright takedowns, yeah, nobody's gonna boycott over that. For refusing to support Smash Brothers tournaments, yeah, nobody's gonna boycott them over that. Like, what people don't understand when they ask for boycotts for things, for something like Nintendo, is that even if the entirety of this YouTube audience did that, Nintendo would not even feel it in their wallet, because, and here's the thing, Nintendo makes most of their money off of the backs of children. Not just children, but children and the parents of those children. Nintendo is a very easy go-to for a parent who doesn't have the time or the will to do all the research that they need to on video games. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy a Nintendo game because you know that it's gonna be relatively safe. As long as it's, created and published by Nintendo, you know that they're not gonna, your children aren't going to be exposed to something like too raunchy or dark or hella violent. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Imagine gaslighting this hard to trick children. I want to think this guy is trolling. I want to think he's kidding. I want to think he's making some kind of joke. But like I said, he made 3 comments. Also, nice job focusing on the melee thing that was already ousted as being entirely based on a lie. A single tourney couldn't advertise the mod, but could still use it otherwise. Bad actors like you latched to it. Is he calling me a bad actor? Oh, man. You trying to cowardly and thirstily force this back after Disproving really ousted your scumminess more than any other lie you tried to enforce. First of all, I did not say any lies in this Nintendo video. Second of all, is there a source on the whole big house takedown thing being based on a lie? I mean, why would a large tournament that builds their brand based on Smash Brother tournaments, let's call it what it is. What would they possibly have to gain by lying? I'm confused. Also, he called me thirsty, which, I mean, he's not wrong, but not in the way that he thinks he's right. Let's see if we could find this guy's other comment. All right, here's this same guy. Fallacies plus straight up gaslighting plus disproven stuff. Both the hardware, which was disproven years ago, and the melee tourney thing that bad actors tried to blow out of proportion when it was a single one trying to use the mod as advertising instead of just using it inside it. I mean, what really constitutes advertising? Like, nobody who doesn't know what melee is going to know what Slippy is. You really doesn't even hide you were paid to astroturf this video. No one would lie so much just to console war after all. The worst is that there's always kids who fall for it because they don't double check stuff and fall for any circle jerk or BS online as long as some fat clickbaiter keeps repeating it pretending it's true. Bro, did you even watch the video? I ain't fat. That's insulting, I think. Why does he immediately go for fat on a video that has a skinny person in front of it? Does he think that I shrunk down the video to make myself thinner? Oh my god. I don't know, there's a lot to make fun of here, but let's just pick one. The hardware stuff, which was disproven years ago, are you telling me that the thousands of people who have documented proof of Joy-Con drift and have broken controllers, are you telling me that those thousands upon thousands of people are lying just for the sake of some stupid console war? Are you kidding me, dude? This guy is the most delusional Nintendo fan I think I've ever seen. I really hope that, I don't know what I hope, but I hope it grows out of it. Because this is kind of depressing. He's accusing me of gaslighting the audience and gaslighting children for talking about some of the bad things Nintendo has done, which, to be fair, aren't even really that bad in the grand scheme of things, like when you compare it to EA or the Monsanto Corporation or even Disney. I mean, yeah, there's definitely more things we can complain about, bigger things we can complain about from other companies, but that's a different topic entirely. Thing is, Nintendo's not that bad, but all this stuff is still bad and is worth pointing out. The console war? Bro, I have a PS5. I haven't had an Xbox since my 360 red ringed all those years ago. And I've been a Nintendo fan literally as long as I have a memory. So even his previous comment is it's kind of insulting. Hope you're being well paid for lying and spreading paid astroturfing about games and consoles you've never played and owned. Bro, I've owned Nintendo consoles probably longer than you've been alive. Go lick a Switch game. I'm insulted. Like I said, I don't have a lot of comments to talk about, but this is the other one that made me want to make this video. I mean, if you guys were in my Discord, you've probably already seen these. But here we go. This one is a wild ride. As a lead software developer, let me say this. My blood, sweat, and tears go into everything I program and code, and piracy hurts every developer as well as the company. Nintendo owns these images, sounds, and code via copyright and patent. Since you believe there is no harm in basically stealing all this, how about I paint a picture of daughter, spouse, or female family member and she will be almost nude. Bro, what? Does that upset you? Consider this. You put your time into your image as a YouTuber, so how about I make a picture of you with a small everything having sex with your cousin, and I do that because that is not hurting anyone, right? I'm doing it as a fan of yours. Bro, what? Come on, be real. You own yourself. Do you really think someone has the rights, supposing no paperwork, to draw you and make you look like a pedophile? Excuse me? We work on software and then what? Our work should be replicatable? What, because it hurts no one? What, WTF, come up with your own ideas because there is no difference between what I would do as your fan and what you do to our work as software developers. Bro, come on, like this is the worst false equivalency I've ever seen in my life. There are a few things here. Let's just go from top to bottom. 1. As lead software developer, let me say this, my blood, sweat, and tears go into everything I program and code, and piracy hurts every developer as well as the company. That is not explicitly proven to be true. I'm not gonna sit here and outright condone piracy, but to say that definitively it hurts developers and companies is not exactly true. There's a few reasons for that. 1, just because somebody pirates a game or a piece of software does not mean that they would have otherwise bought or even been able to buy that software in the first place. And because of that, number 2, a lost sale that you didn't have in the first place is not actually a lost sale. And number 3, the act of piracy can itself create fans. For example, in the past, whenever I graduated college and didn't have a lot of money, I was pirating more games than I normally did, or than I did before when I had a job. I was currently looking for a job, I didn't have any disposable income, so I did what I could to get the entertainment that I wanted. Is that right? You know, probably not. But here's the thing. Those games that I downloaded and then enjoyed and spent lots of time in, I made a mental note to myself, especially the ones that I played a lot and beat and really enjoyed. I made a mental note to myself that whenever I had the money, whenever I had the capital, whenever I finally got my job, I was going to go on Steam and purchase the game like I should have done in the first place. And when I got a job later that year, I went and I bought those games. And a few of them are games that I still hold very highly in my mind today, like Dust and Elysian Tale, Guacamelee. There were a number of them like this I went and bought after I, basically stole their game. But I can guarantee you that if I had just not bought those games, then I wouldn't have been a fan of them. I wouldn't have been able to be a fan of them because I didn't play them. And because I wasn't a fan of them, I couldn't talk about them. I didn't know what they were. I wouldn't have had those memories of playing the games in the first place. So I probably wouldn't like Metroidvanias as much. So in a roundabout way, the fact that I was able to pirate Guacamelee made me a Guacamelee fan and helped Guacamelee in general do, slightly better because I did eventually buy the game, and I might not have if I didn't have the capital in the first place and didn't pirate it. It's very roundabout. The words that I'm saying aren't quite lining up well, but there you go. I mean, it's a very roundabout thing. And of course, that's not the case for everybody that pirates video games or pirates things in general, and that's not going to be the case for every case of piracy. In a lot of cases, it can be bad. In some cases, it can be good. But in general, there is no definitive study either way on whether it is wholly positive or negative. And there's a lot of variables around that. So the fact that you're saying that it hurts every developer as well as the company, I don't think so. Which brings us to the next point. Nintendo owns these images, sounds, and code via copyright and patent. No argument there. Since you believe there is no harm in basically stealing all this, how about I paint a picture of daughter, spouse, or a female family member and she will be almost nude. It's weird that this person immediately goes towards female family member. Like, why would it be any different male or female as far as this nightmare scenario goes? I imagine that this line has something to do with if you pirate a game, the company will go bankrupt, the developers will lose all their money, and then all of the family members will be homeless and clothesless on the side of the road or something? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's an upsetting image, but that's not how that works, dude. That's not how that works. Then again, based on the rest of his comment, how about I paint a picture of blah, 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 blah? When you say paint a picture, do you mean like you're saying these words and you're trying to paint a picture in my mind, or you're literally like with easel and paintbrush in hand painting a picture? It seems like the latter based on the rest of the comment. Consider this: you put your time and your image as a YouTuber, so how about I make a picture of you with a small everything having sex with your cousin, and I do that because that is not hurting anyone, right? I am doing it as a fan of yours. Well, first of all, that would be hurting me. Second of all, it's kind of a weird thing to do as a fan. I mean, people draw Rule 34 of things that they're fans of all the time, but a lot of the time it's not a real person. God, I hope there's no Rule 34 of people like Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie or Markiplier or anybody like that. God, because that is not hurting anyone, right? I am doing it as a fan of yours. Immediately going to like the worst possible scenario and applying my words to it as if the nightmare scenario will invalidate it, whatever I said. When it comes to fan games and the argument of or against fan games, there have been a few developers in the comments of this video that had pretty good points. I'm not really going to go over them now, but in general, I thought that the points that they brought up, while founded and somewhat reasonable, I also think that they are relatively overblown. When it comes to fan games, there's a lot that hasn't been proven in the court of law. Most copyright infringement cases get settled out of court, so no official ruling is ever made. And two, generally in the context of fan games, the fan games are meant to, like, they're created as a means to highlight what they love about the franchise a lot of the time. They're not ever trying to usurp the franchise. They're doing it as a means of appreciation. I feel pretty confident in saying that anybody who goes out of their way to create a fan game, if they're approached by the original creators of the original game and either offered a license, offered a job, or spoken to with respect, asked to stop, or maybe even asked to help, as a fan, I'll bet most of them would be thrilled to do whatever the original creator wanted them to do, you know, within reason. That said, something like a fan game may have the potential to harm or tarnish the reputation or image of the original work. In general, I have a hard time seeing exactly how that is possible, considering what I was just talking about. Fan games, you know, looking to bolster the support and the appreciation for games as opposed to trying to usurp or harm them. But at the same time, if you created a fan game that was strictly within the realm of parody, then there's dust flying around, that could be considered fair use. Of course, that would have to be argued in court, but parody, at least in the United States, is protected. So, unfortunately, if someone created artwork that does what this guy says and is trying to say something about me or the way that I make these decisions and present these opinions as a form of satire or parody, then there's not really much that I can do about it other than maybe going after it for a case of libel or slander or something like that. But if it's pure parody, then there wouldn't be anything I could do about it, you know? So even with that, this example is really, really bad. I don't know where this guy came up with anything that he typed here. Does that upset you? The only thing that upsets me is the fact that this comment exists and that somebody who has at least the book intelligence to be a lead software developer does not have any like social intelligence, or I guess any like common sense intelligence to think to know that these are not equivalent issues. And you know that he thought he was being so smart. I don't know. This comment makes me sad. It also makes me mad. It also makes me upset, but it's staying up there. I know I never delete comments. Actually, I've deleted one, maybe two, you know, outside of the normal spam comments that I try to actively delete, but I never delete a comment that actually makes it through the default spam filters. And even then, like, I let a lot of those through. But yeah, there you go. Just wanted to highlight a couple of those. If you want more videos like this in the future, let me know. It's always fun going through comments and stuff. Even though this guy called me Lex Luthor, I'm not evil, I'm just bald, you dick. Anyway, like I said, let me know if you want to see more stuff like this. This is fun. If you could do me a favor and, like, I don't know, draw me clicking that like button that's right below this video, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.